Stampers, I'm Verna from stampinnotes.com. I love to share the joy of paper crafting and card making, and I have a card for you today that is inspired by the view from my porch. So I want to share this view with you. Can you see the beautiful hills? And we're going to use the Mountain Air card stamp set to make a beautiful card. So come on in. The beautiful stamp set we're using today is called Mountain Air. And this is a stamp set right here. It has a tree line stamp. This is the front of it and the back. Trees and mountains. It's just beautiful. It's a great set for, you can use it for birthdays, sympathy, thinking of you, congratulations. And it also has a coordinating Majestic Mountain dies, and I love these. I love the trees especially. There's the mountains, the tree line, the tree outlines, the clouds. And so we're going to talk a little bit about this because this is a stamp set that you use the reversible stamps. You use the front and the back of the stamps, which is really cool. We're going to come in first and we're going to do our mountains, and I'm using a block that's not as long as my stamp. I'm not going to need the whole length of the stamp. I have a bigger block I could have mounted it on, but for that reason I'm not going to. So we're going to start with Balmy Blue. I'm going to ink up my stamp. This is a photopolymer stamp. And I'm going to stamp off first because I don't want it to be like shocking blue. And we're going to stamp off, and then we're going to come in down a little bit below the top of the card because we want a skyline, and we're going to stamp that. And now I'm going to take and wipe off my stamp with a sponge from Stampin' Up, and I can't remember the name of it right at the moment. And I'm going to dry that off a little bit. I'm going to turn the stamp over to the smooth side. This is completely smooth. And now I'm going to do the shadow on the mountains. You can see in the card here, we've got the blue, and we're going to fill in with Crumb cake color. So I'm going to stamp or ink that up. And I'm going to stamp this off also. There it is, stamped off. I'm going to come over and I can see, hover and then stamp. And then I'm going to, oh, I missed a little bit over here. So we need to redo that. I must have had this stamp over a little bit. I'm going to stamp off there, and I'm going to just come in with that right there. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to move. I've already stamped once with this, and I'm going to just make some shadow behind these hills because we want it to look like a range behind there, like that. And I might even move it over a little more like this and do. Okay, so there's our shadow in the background. Isn't that neat? It's really pretty. Now I'm coming in with a tree line, and the tree line also I have on a block that is longer than, or not as long as a tree line. And this is another reversible stamp. This side has the etching into the, so it's not flat, and this is the flat surface. So we're going to start with the side that has a design in it, and I'm using Mossy Meadow. I'm not going to stamp this off. And when you do your tree line, you want to get it up as far, like on the edge of the mountain line, right here. So we're going to stamp like that. Isn't that pretty? All right, now what I did, and you don't have to do this, was I filled in this with, I'm going to use a little bit of Stampin' Up. And I'm going to use a little bit of Stampin' Up. And I'm going to my Crumb Cake Stampin' Blend marker. Stampin' Blends, there's a small tip and there's a wide tip. Now if I was using a heavier paper, I would use the aqua painter and paint it because it's faster. But since I don't have that, I'm just gonna color it in with this. And I'm not being careful. You don't need to be careful because we already have the crumb cake in the background. And I kind of like the look of the different lines, as we'll come back and blend that in. You can make some places darker or lighter than other places. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can subscribe and then hit the bell and you'll get the notices of when I upload another video. Okay, so now we have our background is done. And I'm gonna come in and die cut the trees, and we're gonna use Mossy Meadow cardstock. I'm gonna take both of these trees out here. I wanna show you, this is my die cut machine, as you can tell. And my plates are very worn. I am going to use a piece of fabric softener. I like the kind without the scent in it. And I'm going to put my cardstock right here. Actually, I'm going to move it over. It cuts better on the sides. So I'm going to move it that way. Put my die down here. And we'll do this. We'll do it this way. Okay. We're going to crank it through. Sorry, my phone's shaking a little bit. But I want to show you how that fabric softener sheet will help pull all these tiny little pieces out of the tree. I really like to use it for that reason. Now we have the trees on there. I'm going to take the top of my tree and pull. You see how that pulls all those little pieces out? Top of this one. You can use the brush. Stampin' Up! Has a brush, but I really like using this. It works easy and it does a good job. Alright, so we've die cut our trees. And now we're going to come in and we're going to adhere them to the front of the card. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my multi-purpose liquid glue and put some on this mat. And dab my sponge in it and just dab it down the length of this tree, like so. I'm gonna adhere it, this one up a little bit. Same thing on the second tree. Dab some glue. And this glue will wash right off. Take my sponge and dab it along the length of the tree. You don't want to dab too much, like I did a little too much there. And I'm going to just put this one down a little bit. This top is a little crooked. There. Now I'm going to take my two sentiment pieces, and these are cut from the Stitch So Sweetly dies that are right here, and I've used this one right here. And the sentiments are from Itty Bitty Birthdays. And if you don't have this set, this is one that you want to add to your collection because it's awesome for birthdays. On the front, we're going to put It's Your Day. And I should be stamping on a photopolymer, on a little mat with a photopolymer stamps. They come out better. And then we're gonna put the shadow, the blue piece behind it like that. So I need to adhere that. And I just want to do it on this end so the end that's hanging over isn't sticky. I'm going to take my dimensionals. If you probably know what dimensionals are, but yes, this was a mistake back here. And we're going to pop them on there like that so this sits up a little bit. Adds a little bit of dimension to our card. And these pull off like that. I'll put it right about there. All right, this is ready to mount on our card base. So I'm going to grab that card base, which is where? Here it is. And I need to put my Balmy Blue on first. You just need a tiny little bit of this. Stampin' Up's cardstock is the best. It's heavy. It's such a good quality. I just love it. It's great for making boxes or any kind of crafting. You could pop this on with dimensionals. Whoops. Okay, and now we're going to do the inside. So we want our matte layer. So again, we're going to use Mossy Meadow for the trees. And we will put them in the lower right. Just like that. I think they're so pretty. I love the detail in them. And then our sentiment says birthday wishes. And we want this in soft suede. This would be a great card for a man. And there we go. So it's your day and birthday wishes.